One of the other things that we do is we go into schools and talk about healthy relationships. We talk about healthy friendships, which I'm going to do with you guys. We'll talk about a lot of things that have to do with just, success in life. And that actually is that is what this program, so it's called Unfiltered Truth, and it is how to help you have the most success in life and with your friends and the choices that you make. A lot of the things that you already talked about with Mr. Watson. So I'm just going to kind of continue some of those things and focus. And we have a lot of handouts. So those of you who don't have folders have the rest of the handouts. We'll get them the next time I come. So I want you to take this poll. So what do you think people need to be happy? Because if you're successful, the people who are successful are happy, right? And I'm not just talking about financial success. I'm talking about really feeling like I am in a good place in life. So there's a study, a long-term study, literally a study that's been looking at the same people for over 80 years. So they're over 80. Most of them are in their 90s, those who are still living in this study. It started way back in the 20s, in the last century, and but they came up with one item out of all of these that made people, that's what people needed to be happy. So do you think it was a healthy diet? That that's what they had, they ate well? Raise your hand if you think that's what the answer they came up with. That's a pretty important thing, right? But, okay, so do you think it was that they had a pet? Those of us who have a pet, isn't it really nice to go home to, just a pet that loves you no matter what? Okay, you can't tell if they're smiling or not, although some dogs kind of look like they smile, but, but they just always love you. So was that one thing that they had that made them feel like they had a successful, happy life? Was it a strong relationship with another person? So no one's raised their hand yet. What are you guys thinking? Any of these? So we're at number 3. Is it that they had one person they could, talk to about their fears, about, Okay, so we got some yes there. Do you think it was the fact that they never married? Was it the person who said, I'm 90 years old and I'm happy because I never married? Okay, yeah. Some people who said that.
Report to the main office immediately.
Or was it the last one, number 5, that they learned a new skill, or that they kept learning new things in life, kind of really expanding their brain, and, so according to this class, you guys think that it's number 3. That it's the fact that they had that one person they could talk to. Now, it doesn't mean these other things might have come up. Certainly, we know, and you're in health class, you know that eating well is important, right? What you put into your body is going to help you feel better throughout life, and especially like these people, this study, remember, was looking at long, happy, healthy lives. So that was important, but the top thing was what you said, number 3. That's what came up over and over and over again, every time they talked to these people. So the lessons that I'm going to be teaching are from a program called Real Essentials. And that's where all these handouts come from. And when they saw this research, and lots of other research that says the same thing, reports the same thing, they said we need to help people with their relationships, because relationships matter. This information showed that. And what they said is, interestingly, it's not their DNA, like it's not the life the health that they were born with. It wasn't how they ate. It wasn't how much money they had. It wasn't that they had a big family or had a big, nice house or all that. What came up as the most important thing was the relationships in their life. And what they found was, so when people connect well to others, they do well. And so that's what I want you to. You're learning that now at the tender age of whatever you are. Most of you 14 or 15 or 13, somewhere in there, right? So you're learning this now so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. The best decisions surrounding relationships. And first, that's friendships, right? But we're going to talk about some things just before that. So yeah, relationships matter. That's why this program is on. Norms are really just the ground rules for the classroom. I'm coming into your classroom when school's almost over. So I know you have ground rules. I know Mr. Watson runs a tight ship, and he's already talked about that. But basically, if you can, just be honest about anything that you speak about to respond, because I do want your responses. I actually brought some Where are they? I brought some kind of incentives with me. Yes, I do have some things here. So, some of the times when you are responding, I have some snacks for you, just to keep it going, to keep, kind of an incentive to get you to keep the class going, because it's much more fun if you're doing the talking and not just me all the time. I usually have a rule about cell phones, but I don't think anyone is going to do that. So since we are talking about relationships and it involves two people, or friendships first today, the best relationships have to start with you. So that's where we're going to go. So I would like you to, the handout that you just received, if you don't have a folder, if you do have a folder, pull out the handout that's called Whole Person Health, I think. Is it called A Picture of Good Health?
Yeah, picture good health.
For some of you, it'll be yellow. Tell us if you don't have one. I was thinking, for homework, I'm going to have them do the personality study. For the people online, we can tell them that personalityanimal.com, I have it at the end, but I forgot, if you can make a copy of that, sorry. And that, yeah, I don't think it's in, I don't think I did it with the high school kids. Because I don't think I have the time when I do that, I concentrate on other things. So it's not in this one, so you're going to have to borrow somebody's, and if you could give that to them before the end of the class, so I can make a copy of it. I'm not coming back on Monday here, am I? Because they're in testing?
Yeah, all week they're testing.
Okay, so you then, will you have them in class?
No, they're not even, yeah.
So if you can make a copy of that from somebody's folder before the end of this class, and that will be...
you mean a personality animal?
Personality, yeah, profile, I think it's called. Okay, so that's just it. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so on this one, you've got in front of you, you can doodle on this. These are all for you. You're not handing these in. So anything that we talk about, anything that you write down is for your benefit. So don't be afraid, okay, somebody else is going to be reading this, all right? So since we are in relationships, we have to focus on us. And that's the first place I want to go. So what does it mean to be a person who's in good health? What does that mean? Give me some ideas. For, like I said, I don't have these all the time, so for, let's see, pull out whatever I've got here, goldfish. Give me an idea. When I say, Mr. Watson is a person with good health, what does that mean? Give me there's some description there that says, what makes him a person who's in good health? He eats healthy? Yeah, good example, thank you. Oh, that was her. I can't tell who's talking about these other things, thank you. And you know what? With your green cards, by the way, I did forget to do this. If you could make them like into little tents and then put your name here, then I can call on you by name. So make it large, not a little one. Like if your name, just your first name, not your last. Just so I can know who I'm talking to. If I can, you should have pens. I sort of gave you all pens. All right. So as you do, so thank you. That's a good answer. It's that's one of the descriptions is a person who eats well. What else does it mean to be a person in good health? Do you need a pen? Oh, go ahead. Did you have an answer? What was it? Active, absolutely. Yeah, so a person who, so we're all talking, what we're talking about right now is just his physical health, right? We're just talking about the fact that he, exercises and stays active. But there's other things that he does. If I just describe him, hold on here, hold your idea, and your name is it Neria? No, Naraya, thank you. If I describe Mr. Watson as a person who's taller than me, I'm not talking about Rich, taller than me, stays active, I'm pretty much describing his physical self, right? The physical person. But is there more to you, Mr. Watson, than just your physical? Than just what you look like and what you do? Yeah, what were you going to say? Were you going to say something? No, you did. What were you going to say?
I was going to say his mental health.
Ah, interesting. So there's more to him than just his body. There's more to all of this than just what we look like, right? So yes, that is a good one, and we're going to get to that. So the first thing on your paper is a P. So put physical down, because we talked about physical. There might be some other things you can add to that, by the way. What was that? Oh, don't worry about it. Physical, P-H-Y-S-I-C-A-L. But it doesn't matter, it's for you, so however you want to spell it, doesn't matter. So we talked about the fact that he's active. There's one other thing that I always like to mention. There's something else that when we're not active, what might we be doing at night? What? Sleeping. Yes, so sleeping is also important, getting enough sleep, getting wellness checks, all that. That's all important. Naraya mentioned his mental health, and that is coming, but there's one before that, just in the order we have. Doesn't matter what order they're, but in the order we have, you can see these are all intertwined. First one was physical. Oh, it's already spelled. I forgot to tell you, you can spell it there. Second one is another area. Something that if I had a picture of our brain up there, would that help you? So, intellectual, yes, and there you can, I don't have to spell it, so you can spell if you want to, but yes, your intellectual health. So what can we do to grow, to increase our brain, to increase our intellectual health? What do we do to help ourselves? Thank you, Naraya. Read. Reading.
Oh, there we go.
And you know what, Naraya's been, I keep not forgetting, do you like these little things? Change it at the end if I still have some left. And if I've not given you something you talk at the end, you can come and get something. So yeah, intellectual health. Reading is one way, and I think that's actually, that is a picture, and I just gave you the next one. But so what else can we do to increase our brain, to make our brains work? What else do you guys do? What was that? Somebody said something. Is that Naraya?
Yeah, but some other things to exercise that mind. She said, well, no, I mean to
something you can
something
do.
you can do that works your brain.
Oh, this thing.
What was that?
No, it's a cerebellum activity. I said make one hand go forward, one go backward at the same time. They can't do it.
Oh yeah, I don't think I can do it. But I think that's actually one. But there's something in your school. You have a club here that makes you work.
Chess.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I don't want none, no.
Mr. Watson runs it, right? What did you say?
I don't want to.
You know what? Anything? Really? There's even candy in there. Well, if you change your mind at the end, you can feel free to get something. And who am I talking to? I feel like your name on there. Or do you have it backwards? Thank you. How do you say your name? Oh, Afwan. Okay, that's okay. All right, so we've got to, what's the next one? Something Naraya said earlier? Emotional? Yep, and I had it up there. So yeah, it has a picture of a heart, because what do we do for our emotional health? What can we do to feel more connected to others? If you say something, just say it loud. Maybe put your hand up so I know who's talking. What was that? Oh yeah, so working, yeah. She said getting to know them. What kind of things can we do to get to know somebody else? What's this specifically?
Going around.
Watching movies and hanging out.
Watching.
Movies and hanging out.
Oh, and so,
Okay.
and then I want to add to that and talking about what you heard. Because like I just came in, and was that the seniors?
Yeah.
So they were watching a movie. I'm sure they're going to be kind of pulling that apart and talking about what they heard in this movie. So really, getting into a deeper level, not just talking about nothing, but really talking about stuff that has meaning. Go ahead. Talk a little louder. Asking them questions. Is it Lamaya? Okay. Yeah, asking questions to learn, what are their likes, what are their dislikes. When you have a good friend, and they come to school, and you can see, maybe they're not crying or anything, but you can see they are sad. It's written all over them. It's the way it's their whole body language. If you're a good friend, what do you do for them?
Talk to everybody.
Yeah, what's wrong? And maybe you are even, pat them or, put your hand on their back. Maybe you give them a hug.
Boys have a different response. Hey, boys,
Yeah, so what are the boys?
when somebody's feeling, hey boys, when somebody, like one of your friends feeling down, what do you say to them in the morning? Or now, what would you say if you see Alpine, don't look, he's feeling down? How would you approach him? Huh? You wouldn't say anything to him? No?
You would say anything like, hey, what's up?
You see Cornell feeling sad, he's sad, what would you say to him?
I don't get sad.
I'm just saying, but you
Something
see it.
happened on the weekend. And you can see it written all over.
Let's say a girl, he think he's
Nah, I do the
but I'm
same thing
saying,
I do on
what
a
if it's-
regular day, but I'll
but I'm
be like, what up, bro?
what if this girl just left him and he's feeling down?
I wouldn't care. Man, I can't say what I want. I would say, but yeah.
But you would say something. That's what your point is, right, Alpine? You would say something to Katie, okay, what's going on? Right?
No,
No?
not like that.
No?
That's terrible.
See, guys are more detached.
So they are, but you know, I'm a mom of all boys. I don't have any girls in my house. And I can tell you, when one of them is, you know, my kids are older, so one of them, like their girlfriend has left them, or they're had a fight. The other's like, hey, you know, what's going on? They might not do the hug thing, they might not be like, oh, what's up? But they might be like, hey, what's up? Something's up, I can tell. You know, just to respond and just to act, I mean, to say something that says, hey, I see that things aren't going right. You want to talk about it. They might say that, they might just say, hey, looks like you need some space today. You know, whatever, the point is, well, a good friend, and if we're in good health and we are helping others with their emotional health, we're also helping ourselves. Maybe sometimes we need to say to someone, you know what, I'm just not in a good place today. Things happen on the weekend, or you know, I failed a test I really studied hard for. Whatever, we need to let others into that space. I don't know if I have any other things. You know, some people who are feeling really connected, have good emotional health, are people who feel supported, they feel safe. What about the person who doesn't feel safe when they're walking home from school or whatever in their life? You know, they're not in a good emotional place, and they need to get the help to make sure that you are in a better place. So what's next? The next area begins with an S, and I think yeah, they do have the letter. So if I said it was an SO, would that help? This is an area, go ahead. Yeah, it is social. Yeah, were you going to say the same thing? Yeah. So social, how we socially connect with others. Now, what are some ways that you do this? Oh, can you hand one of these to each kid? Just leave these on your desk, I'll tell you what to do with them. So, socially, what do you do to have, if you're a good social health? Pardon me? You were going to say what? Oh, you don't have to draw. You can draw anything you want in there. You can draw what they have, or you can just draw a stick figure. Or you can draw something that you do. What do you do socially with your friends? What is something you do for your social life? Ariana. Ooh, is it Ariana? Yes, it's Ariana.
What do you guys do socially? Speak up.
So it's more, it is talking, but more like what kind of a setting? There's probably a bunch that you do. And there are some ways that you use social health or social connection that I did not. What were you going to say? What was that? Oh, this is so loud. Going to the mall, yeah. So shopping. What else do you guys do? If I had a picture of a cell phone out there, social media is a big way that you guys connect that wasn't available to me or Mr. Watson when we were your age. Sometimes I think that might be a good thing, but you know, last year during that, when we were more locked down, it was really nice to be able to connect with others by texting or whatever, Instagram, whatever way that you use. And obviously, are those always good? Is connecting with someone through social media always a good thing? Can't get out of hand, right? Some people say things in a text that they probably wouldn't say to their face, or they might, react to something online or Facebook or whatever that they wouldn't.
You know, it's funny, on the social part, like, remember I always talking about relationships, and one of the girls, my team, she likes this guy, and she's afraid to, like, I'm like, well, just, how you going to tell him? How's he going to know that you like him? You know what I mean? She said, well, he knows, and I'm like, no, you didn't tell him. So I said, what are you going to do? So instead of going up and just telling him, she used her sister to text him. Why are we so afraid to talk to people?
Yeah, is that the best way?
What do you mean?
I'd be scared of rejection.
What's that?
Scared of rejection.
Oh,
That's
Why?
interesting.
yeah. Why are we so afraid of rejection?
Bro,
Who was
why?
rejected?
I guess it's not the
Huh?
way.
Whoa. Oh, go ahead.
That's embarrassing being rejected in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So
No, it might
it doesn't
be-
have to be in front of everybody.
Yeah, it can be by yourself.
Just by yourself, you say,
It's still
I like hanging out with you. You don't have to say I like you, but I like being with you. I like, I think we have a lot in common, or whatever it is.
No, it's not always the thought of being embarrassed by everybody. You're embarrassed by yourself because it's the way to reject you. Like,
Well,
it's the
I mean,
way to
why are
reject
you
you.
embarrassed? You know,
And I-
there's a-
You're embarrassed about
Well, then that's
I'm
not,
not coming out.
okay. One thing that norms,
Yo,
in the
come back,
norms is
come
that
back.
one person talks, because I have a, we really, so I'll
Yeah,
let
we
you
can
first.
move on, yeah.
You wanna go to the next one?
Oh, yeah, you go to the next
What'd
one.
you say? Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna talk about friends in one of the future classes and friendships and how we, create friendships, what we say. So there's gonna be lots of opportunity in there. I think we'll have a pretty active discussion. Maybe I'll need to come back a sixth time. Okay, so socially, there's lots of ways. Someone who's in poor social health, though, is someone who has really isolated themselves. Maybe they play, what is something that where we can isolate ourselves and it's really not healthy. We can spend a lot of time doing something by ourselves.
Video games.
Video games, gaming, I hear it all the time. I hear it from adults, not just kids, I hear it from adults who just, some of those games are really inviting, right? They really make you want to keep doing it, and hours go by. All of a sudden you realize, gosh, I haven't talked to anybody, and yeah, this was fun, and maybe it stretched your brain, because a lot of them use strategy, right? But there is a breaking point, and there's a point where it becomes an unhealthy thing for you. So, one of the things, a good example of social health is learning how to appreciate the differences in others. So being part of maybe groups or stretching yourself and joining things at school like chess club or like others. Maybe it's, you're in 8th grade. Next year, will they get to join high school sports?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have junior high sports now.
So you do sports now, but maybe you're like, okay, I haven't been so involved in sports, I'm going to try something new next year. So that's another social thing. Of course, it's physical too. So what's the next one? The next one, I'll give you the hint, is an SP. Another way that we connect with others. Anyone say something that I can
Supporter.
So not sports, because that's more of this, that's physical, social. Did anyone say something back here? No, because I can't tell.
Sports
because
not
I
always
said
social.
Well, it was what?
Sports not always social.
It's not always social, but typically when you're at a sporting event, there's a social connection.
Being supported.
No, there's all part of this. So these are not wrong answers, but this is a specific thing.
Wait, so
you
what's
do.
the question again?
So this is a specific way that you connect with others, but it's not anything that we talk to, and it begins with SP. So if I had up there a picture
Space.
of,
Or you can connect with
Space.
yourself.
yeah, this is it. So if I had a picture up there of someone on a mountaintop enjoying the nature around them, enjoying the sunrise. Or I had a picture of someone praying. Would that help? Spiritual? Absolutely. So in this case, they have a picture of, a dove. So I mentioned 2 examples. You can draw whatever you want on there. But what are some examples of spiritual health, being good in good spiritual health? And it may be different for everybody in the room, right?
Yoga, meditating.
Yoga,
Okay.
meditating,
Good one.
good examples. Any others? Going on a hike, yep. So being in, part of nature. Some people will say that spiritual to them is being a part of the environment, like really caring for the environment. What are some other ways? For other people, spiritual might be what? Praying. Or, maybe going to a church service, or trying something new, a new type of spirit, a new type of faith. Maybe they have a friend who is Muslim, maybe. And so one is a Christian faith, one is Muslim, and they're learning about each other's faith. So those are other ways. There are people, again, spiritual means something different for everyone, but typically it is how they feel connected to the environment around them, whether it's their faith, whether it's, the earth. All right, what do you think this last one is? And my hint for you is, it's green, even though you can't tell it's green up there on the
Friendship.
Not friendship, because friendship is really a part of social. In fact, friendship involves all these things. And that's actually one of our points. So that's a good answer, but it's not. This is a specific area where we connect, and it's not as easy as the others to figure out. So most people do not. But if I had a picture of someone putting money in a bank, would that give you the answer? It begins with an F. Yes, thank you. So financial, what is that? Oh, it's a picture of someone with a big bag of money. And your name is Noria?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So thank you, make sure you get something out, I gotta go leave. So my point of this is that every one of these is important for you to have good social health. So it's kind of like, I had to find this little toy, but it was kind of perfect. So if I take this out so that everything works together, as you see. It's like the gears in a car, in a motor of a car. When everything is going, when everything is connected, all of these things, physical, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, and financial, then things are going well, then we are happy. We are feeling connected. Now, you may think in your life, yeah, okay, so I have a spiritual life, I maybe a part of my church, and I really like the faith that I like going there, I like talking to people there. So, and maybe you have a part-time job and you're saving money. Maybe you are pretty physical, but you're thinking, you're new at this school. Maybe you're new in a neighborhood. So socially, you're feeling kind of disconnected. Maybe emotionally, you're feeling kind of anxious. So you can see maybe we're two areas. That just means those are areas to work on. Now, we're not going to have everything all at once, but that's our goal and our objective to have, remember the first thing, to have the most success in life, so that all of these are working. Let me actually go back also, before I continue that, to that financial part. It's not how much money you have or how little you have. It's really how you're influenced by money. So do you save it? Do you spend it? Do you borrow money when you really can't afford to pay it back? Do you beg your parents for things that you know is not in their budget and is really, going to kind of not be good for the family? Do you save? And do you have friends who, are always asking you to do things that are really expensive, and you're like, I really don't have that much extra money to be going to Hershey Park every week. It's pretty expensive to go there. Or I can't, maybe my parents are telling me right now that I can't afford one of those passes all the year. I don't even know how much they are now. But, it's how you are influenced by money and what you do with it. Do you give to people, when you have it, and you guys are young, and probably most of you don't have part-time jobs yet, but, do we help others when we can? Do we give a few bucks here and there?
Wait, can I piggyback on that?
Yes.
Hey, one thing about, the reason why I really like this, this will of personal health, is that when you have all those in place about yourself, if you have a healthy will, then you're going to be a good person, and then you can transfer that, that energy onto somebody else. Do you have good physical health? Are you good intellectually? Do you have good intellectual exercises? Like she was saying, playing chess. Are you good emotionally? Do you just like snap out and freak out all the time as an excuse just to get attention? Or do you control your emotions? Do you have a handle on your emotions? Do you know what stresses you out? What's your social life like? Do you have friends? You have all these different social atmospheres, like, let's say basketball, or you got a football family, you got your friends in school, so when you got those all in place, you're going to be a well-rounded person. A lot of us are missing one of those, one or two of those things, and it knocks us out of whack. People always say, well, I have all A's, but their attitude's horrible. I have all A's, but they're jerks, cussing people out. So that takes away from your intellect. All right? So make sure you got those all in place. What do you guys do for spiritual? You meditate. I like reading the books. I read a book I read a book probably a book every 2 weeks. That's spiritual to me. You know what I mean? A lot of people.
And even watching documentaries that that teach you something, those are good too. Okay, so if you don't, so what Mr. Watson is saying is, if everything's connected, this is going to be working really well. But if something is not, things are stuck. Or one of these little cogs is broken off. So our goal is to, what commitments do you have to yourself to make sure that you're in good health? But before that, you have a little white piece of paper in front of you. I want you to write 1 or 2 ideas. And just write it on here, and then ball it up, and we're going to kind of have this little snowball fight. We have a little bit of time, right? So ideas, I'm sorry, thank you. I'm not very. So ideas for one of the areas that we talked about. So whether it's physical, social, emotional, financial, what are some ways that you can increase your health? It doesn't have to be for you, but for anyone. How can they increase this part of their health?
You can put a P down for physical,
Yes,
and
I
give us a
used to
good
have that.
example of, you know, physical, put a F down for financial, give us a good example.
It's
Might be a
good
personal example, might be examples for somebody else.
Yes, and you're not gonna have to read it, somebody else will be reading yours. And we have about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so when you have just, oh wait a minute, no, I'm gonna have you have a snowball fight, that's right. I forgot. Hopefully we're gonna have hopefully you are mature enough to do this, so as soon as you have it, ball it up, and you're gonna kind of throw it across the
So
room,
what we
somebody
gotta write?
else is gonna
What we
pick
gotta
it.
write?
You're writing, okay, I'm gonna pick, let's see, I'll pick an easy one for you. So, financial. How can you?
Put it physical.
Oh, you already did, okay, well, you said, what do I write? So an example of how you can have good physical health. Like, what can you do for yourself, or what can somebody do to be in good health? He already mentioned something. Try to mention something we haven't already talked about.
Write down, we have examples, give an example of
Is that
Yeah, like, let's say,
Raymond? You put something on there, you gotta wake up,
what's a good
Raymond.
example of social? You're like a social butterfly, you know that, like you have friends.
So, you do have it,
Yeah, you do.
so we can move on.
What's a good example of you being social?
No, don't worry about
It
it.
might give you, yeah, there we go.
This isn't an English class, we're not, we
A
don't-
lot of people afraid to talk to you.
I mean, it should be important, but. All right.
What's your favorite pastime?
Yeah. Sleeping. So sleeping is part of physical health, but it has to be done at the right time. This is not the right time, Raymond. I don't think you guys are. Exactly. Okay, so stand up, and I want you to stay where you are, but throw your thing as like it's a snowball fight. And somebody else picks it. The idea is you pick up somebody else's fight or read somebody else.
Just throw it, just throw it.
Do
yeah,
it.
throw it.
You want
Throw some back there, throw yours over there.
somebody will catch it up.
Throw, can somebody go and throw?
Ariel.
There you go, yeah, you got one, yeah, pick it up. Yeah, pick it up, pick it up.
So everybody pick up one. Did you throw one, Alpine?
There's one over there.
There's one here. There's one here. If you don't have one, Moyer, did you throw yours? So you got another one? Okay, good.
Now you gotta get somebody else's, yeah.
Everybody should pick up one. And I'm gonna have
That's
somebody
yours?
read it.
All right.
Just go outside more.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah, open it up, you guys can just read it.
So I want some of you to read them. So, what did you
All right, now let's read mine.
Hey, listen.
How you get
I
your
have to
own?
speak loud because I have masks on. Okay, here's an emotional example from Noriel. Noriel is reading it. It's not her, Noriel.
It says stop holding in my emotions.
Stop holding in emotions. Very good. Being
Mama.
able to kind of get them out appropriately, but being able to tell others. Yeah, that means, kind of, we're going to learn this more in personality the next time here. But learning how to let people into your emotional self is not holding on to it. So that's very good, whoever wrote that. Anybody else? What do you have? Asthma?
What did SPC stand
Asthma.
for?
Wait, listen, you can't listen to us.
Spiritual.
I think just other.
Because she said, wait,
Okay, so you guys didn't hear the one that Asma wrote, and it was physical, staying active, and reading. And reading is not a minor thing, as Mr. Watson was saying. You can read short things. You don't want to read a whole big book, but read things that are going to really increase your knowledge about yourself, about others, about the world. Okay, what did you get, Ariel? Listen, and you need to be polite for others. Okay, go ahead. So going outside more for physical, social was what? Talking to more people. So maybe letting more people into your life. Do we have any others? Go ahead. And your name is Soraya. Forget that. I'm not going to read that down. Soraya. Okay. Jogging. Yeah. I mean, that's a way.
Real simple, yeah.
That's something I actually should be doing more of, and I hate jogging, but I know that it's kind of a way that I can
This
do more.
don't say spiritual, it say walking outside more.
Walking outside.
More.
More, okay. So being part of the environment.
Yo,
Who else?
girl.
Did you read yours?
I got everything.
No, go ahead. Oh, this is, okay. So you have I get that by the end, we'll be good. I'll try. Go ahead.
What's that?
That's our bell?
That's the
No, that's
first
the
word.
start.
Yo.
Mila! Mila!
Fire drill. Don't leave your stuff here, we go out this door over here.
That's only happened to me.
But at least it's my snack.
Luckily, at least it was at the end. That's what I did.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is all I wanted.
It wasn't planned, right? we'll do love languages in class for personality. That'd be great. If you want to
Let me stop playing.
You got some gum?
Before I jump on your head.